or down under 100,000 again. We've been having these huge swings, right? And it seems to be related to, you know, what the status of tariffs are every day. I don't know why that would be an effect on Bitcoin in general, outside of an emotional factor. Once again, I mean, I think a lot of this has to do with people's emotional states over, you know, the reality of what's actually happening. And so once you kind of understand that, you kind of start understanding, you know, the markets and what's going to influence what. But we have been seeing alts bleed out like nobody's business, especially proof of work alts, right? It's been pretty crazy. I think over the past 7 days, we've had some really big drops, 20% drops on Dynex, Conflux, Ethereum proof of work, Coin, Chlor AI, Lithium. KAS had a really bad dump all the way down to 7 cents. It's recovered back up to almost 10 cents. By and large, the problem I think we have with kaspa right now is that Mara controls the majority of the hash rate and has a much lower power cost to mint than anybody else in kaspa right now, and they are heavily leveraging the kaspa to make payments and stuff. Like, they're not, when they go on their balance sheet, they aren't adding, you know, obviously near as much kaspa that they've mined percentage wise as they are Bitcoin at this time. And I don't know if that'll change in the future or not, but we'll just have to keep an eye out. Ironfish is down. I mean, everything's down for the week. I guess today we have had a 5% gain, or that's not even proof of work. We've had a 3.4% gain on Beam. And then over the past 7 days, Fractal Bitcoin actually did perform quite well because it had a big pump up prior to this dip. And obviously Fractal Bitcoin being something that you can merge mine with your SHA-256 miner, so it's definitely something that you might want to take into account. Abelian had a 22% bump, but unfortunately, you know, with Abelian, it has a long ways to go to recover to what it used to be, right? If we go for their all, I mean, their top prices were, you know, over $1. And if you had the full chart history here, I mean, there were Abelian prices for over $5 when it first launched. It was ridiculous. And that was in Thanksgiving of 2023. So there's that. Yeah, so I mean, yes, I heard China putting in tariffs in place for the USA. That shouldn't affect the price of Bitcoin necessarily, other than, I guess you could say, well, you increase the cost to mint from increasing the cost of the miners, right? But that would actually drive the price of Bitcoin up, not down. So if you think about it logically, that doesn't make much sense, right? That, okay, well, they put it in. How does that actually directly affect the price of Bitcoin? Well, it increases the cost to mint, thereby increasing the cost of Bitcoin, not the other way around. Now you could say, I suppose, that by doing that, they increase the cost of goods and people have to liquidate more to buy the miners. And therefore, in the short term, it could drive the price down because now the new stock purchase for efficient miners, the price goes up. So in the short term, I guess there could be an argument, but within a 24-hour period, it's not like the tariffs went in place and they immediately pushed forward a big purchase of miners from Bitmain or anything like that. So I would expect the dip from that to come on a quarterly basis or on a release basis for whatever Bitmain's new miners are, right? So, I mean, you could even go to Bitmain and we could look at their, let's just take like the S21 XP, and then we could, well, we can't get the next shipment out, right? So Sometimes they put like when the next shipment's happening, but there's nothing around this time right now, right? So so this would be Q2, right? So I would expect essentially any effect of the tariffs on the miners liquidating more to happen sometime in Q2 of 2025. That will be the real effect of when that would take place, not right now. Now it's just all speculation, right? I think the biggest deal that we have to pay attention to, though, is going to be how almost every single alternative currency is trading negatively with Bitcoin. And it has been since this part of the cycle started. And I don't think that we're going to see that change anytime soon, right? I mean, we can go down the whole list. I mean, obviously Ethereum looks the worst, but especially if we go like the 1 year, it's not having the same parity that it used to have, right? So I think that, and we haven't seen like an alt season yet at all, right? So usually you'll see like the Bitcoin price way ahead, and then you'll see Ethereum come up with it eventually. We're not seeing those inflows into altcoins at this point, and maybe that's because there's too much going on for it to actually take place. But you know, if we look at like things where they are proof of work layer 1 cryptocurrencies, they're even worse, right? Like Ironfish here. I think maybe Zealous would look a little bit better, right? But even like Kaspa, which was a strong bear market performer, obviously it was doing great for a while, and then now it's just the same as Ethereum and everything else. So I think that's what we're really going to be waiting on, is like what are going to be the good performers for the altcoin market. Will there be any for layer 1 proof of work cryptocurrencies? You know, will there be anything available for GPU miners? What are the options we need to look at? Is it really going to just be one of those things where you have to become a hosting provider for Flux or Vast or Chlor or Salad or whatever? Is that the route that you go with? And then, you know, what are the kind of upstart costs for something like that as well? We're just gonna have to sit back and wait and see. I hope you enjoyed this clip from the Crypto Mining Show. If you would like to see more from this particular episode, take a look up here. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me directly, you can go to sonofatech.locals.com and become a member. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday.